probably like many, yesterday I fell into the trap, wrongly, that Liverpool would do a job on Manchester United. Did you not, Simon? I thought it's going to be a case of how many, and might United even score?
I wasn't sure, because it's a game that takes care of itself to some extent, because it can go one way or the other. Obviously, we've seen Liverpool hand them out a 7-0 beating a couple of seasons ago. But more often than not, as Martin will attest to watching this game, it becomes a competitive fixture, almost like a derby, because it takes care of itself, because there's so much pride at stake that the players sometimes are forced into performances that they haven't been recently showing, a la Man United against Wolves earlier on.
Well, that's
in the
right.
Christmas period.
I'd say the betting companies lost a fortune at the weekend, because everybody assumed, didn't they? Well, sorry, won a fortune. What am I on about? Because everyone assumed Manchester United would get battered.
Yes. I fell into that trap.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite shocked by the performance. Amorim afterwards as well was saying that he'd never seen. He was really surprised and disappointed because of what he'd seen before.
Exactly. Well, we're going to get to United, but let's deal with Liverpool first, Martin, because Slot's side reached the halfway point, 6 points clear with a game in hand. 2-2 yesterday, of course. Sammy, the way you look at this is what? I mean, has this result left the title door slightly ajar? Or, considering the struggles of their rivals, could it be seen as a point gained in the end?
I think Liverpool will see it as 3 points lost, not based upon the performance, but based upon the momentum going into the game.
2 points lost?
Yes, sorry, 2 points lost, yeah. I mean, I think United were very good value for their points. In fact, I think they were unfortunate not to win the game in the very last knockings, obviously for the reasons that we will discuss with Maguire's miss. But I think Liverpool will win the league. I think that ultimately this game in and of itself is not reflective of how Liverpool have played. I think the opposition will do what they do, but Liverpool will continue to grind out results, continue to be the most offensive team in the division.
So I think it's done, Simon?
I do. Yeah, I think that Liverpool. I certainly think it's Liverpool's to lose. I think if Liverpool don't have the gumption for the fight that comes when you get to around about March, then they won't. But I think they do.
Yeah, you have a wry smile on the Keown face.
Well, you want to go into it now? You want to go into?
You want some now?
Well,
you want to have it now?
No, the thing is, I've got a whole array of.
You want to do it now?
Look, there's a lot of fixtures that Liverpool have to accomplish yet to be champions. Yes, of course, halfway mark, they look like they're running away with it. But they've got to go to some very difficult away games, as Arsenal have found against Brighton. Brighton, by the way, spent £200 million in the summer, so that's not really going to be a easy place to go to. I think Liverpool, though, have that momentum. I was a little bit surprised yesterday. That might have dented their confidence a little bit. I don't think it will in the overall picture, but I was surprised by the way Manchester United played, and but they can't just turn up when they're playing against the big boys.
But where are we at with Simon says it's Liverpool's title? Do you think it's Liverpool's title?
They look certainly big favourites to win it.
Are you saying this morning Liverpool will win it?
No, I'm not, because it's too far to go, Jim. You've got 18 games to go. 19
well, I mean, in the past we've learnt that. 95-96, Manchester United trailed Keegan's Newcastle by 12 points. United ended up lifting the title. You guys, you won it, Martin. Arsenal have the record for the greatest points deficit recovered to win the title when they came from 13 behind against United in 97-98. And then you threw it away. In 2002-03, mid-November 2002, United trailed leaders Arsenal by 10 points and were still 8 behind in late March. But we know what happened. April 2003, Arsenal lost a 2-goal lead at Bolton to draw 2-2. And we know what happened that day as well, Martin. Somebody scored an own goal.
Yes, I did, and I would still go for that header now. Okocha puts the ball into the box, and it came off me. It could have come off one of their players. It actually came off of me.
So it's doable. It's doable, but there is precedent here. Simon says it's Liverpool's. I am inclined to agree with Simon.
Yes, but what I want to talk you through is the fixtures. So they've got to go to Man City. They've got to go to Villa. They've got to go to what is a tricky place now, Bournemouth, who have beaten Man City, beaten Spurs, beaten Arsenal. They've got to play Forest, the only team that they've lost to this season, away from home. They've got to go to Fulham. They've got to go to Chelsea. These are difficult away games that Arsenal have all played. And right. that's basically the strength of it. The second half of the season, they've got some very tricky games. They want to win it by the time Arsenal turn up at the end of the season.
Right. In the Arsenal dressing room at the moment, what they're thinking, Martin? What did you think in 97-98?
Well, immediately after that game, from game to game, they'd be thinking they didn't do enough when they went in front against Brighton. And Brighton came back. But Brighton, you have to understand, Jim, that you look at their bench looks looking even stronger than Arsenal. Brighton's a different animal right now. They've got some really good players they turn to on the bench, and they wrestle control of the match. I don't agree with the penalty. We can go into that later. That will divide football.
Yeah.
But there we are. It's the little things are not going Arsenal's way. So that they've had, you could say ill discipline, but I'll say they've been unfortunate with some of the sending offs. Yeah. They've had issues with the strength of the games they've had to play away from home all at once, which are now out of the way. And then, of course, where they haven't been quite dominant enough when they've gone in front. They've now, without Saka. Saka has scored, 38% of their goals.
Yeah.
Then no Havertz as well. I don't quite hear the same mentions. If you were losing on someone like a Salah, who scored 55% of Liverpool's goals, then Liverpool, the season will be very different. So a lot of things have got to go well for Liverpool.
We'll get to the Brighton-Arsenal situation, because Arsenal had half an hour to win that game. João Pedro scored a penalty in the 61st minute. Yeah. Half an hour is a long time.
Yeah, Odegaard comes off the bench.
But they couldn't win it.
Odegaard was rested. There was a sickness bug going through the group. And they didn't do enough, Jim. They absolutely didn't do enough against Brighton. But as I say, Brighton are quite a difficult animal right now.
As a chaser, how tough is it, Martin, to keep pace?
The fixtures have to be nice. It all has to be worked out. You have to have that momentum. When we did that in 97, 98, we sort of chased Manchester United down. There was Sir Alex Ferguson was saying we'd slip up somewhere, and we didn't. Doesn't seem to be the same sort of stuff happening with Slot, does it? And Arteta, it's all very calm. There's not really anybody talking out loud. Just going about their business. I really think Liverpool look different class in that. The front three look really outstanding right now. Salah, Gakpo, they saw the quality of his goal yesterday. I mean, you can't. There's no substitute for quality, Jim. You can't tie that down for long enough.
Yeah.
So they look the favourites right now, and it's about Arsenal, isn't it? We've got Wineri, a young 17-year-old, playing incredible football, Jim. But it's a lot to ask of a 17-year-old stepping in for Saka, who's a huge loss for Arsenal.
You could ask the question this morning. We'll ask it, Simon, after this break. Where is Trent's head? All sorts of chat yesterday with Keown and Carragher and Sturridge and the rest on Sky, talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Is his head in Madrid? We'll have a look at that next. Good to be back, and thanks to Lee, the Liverpool fan in Worcester. Happy New Year, Jim, Simon, Martin, Danny, and the whole team. Great to have you back. Thanks for all the entertaining you gave us last year. Here's to a happy and healthy 2025. I agree with you, Lee. Here's to it. It's a long way to go.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.